What's up, y'all? Welcome to Furey Talks. I'm your host, Seth Furey. So today's guest is a dancer, she's an artist, she's an entrepreneur, she's also an influencer, and she also happens to be in a relationship. So she's gonna have a different perspective on some of these topics that we talk about. She's also my friend. So allow me to introduce the one and only Miss Candice.
Hi.
How you doing, my dear?
Hi, guys.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. This is like so cool. The details is like everything. Y'all, if you guys were in here, you would understand what I'm saying. This is like every little piece is so perfect. So congratulations.
Well, thank you so much. That means a lot. So tell everybody about you that doesn't know too much. I met you, when did I meet you? Like
years.
8 years ago, maybe?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It was like when I first moved out to LA.
Mm-hmm.
And
you were in the R&B group with the girls.
Yes, I was in a girl group, was signed to Island Def Jam. We were doing X Factor. I was doing just the girl group thing.
Yeah.
And then, we met and we were just cool ever since then. And we've helped each other with work.
Mm-hmm.
We've always like helped elevate each other, introduce each other to other people, and here we are.
That's what LA's all about. LA, you very rarely come across people that are sincere and genuine, and when you meet them,
you gotta keep
it makes
close.
The journey so much smoother.
For sure.
You know?
And you've always lived super close to me too, so.
That too, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that also helps as well. And so amongst that, you also have, you're a major influencer as well. And with that, you transitioned into an entrepreneur as well, outside of just the music.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Which has been such a crazy process. Like social media in general is just like, it literally changed my life. Like I went from touring with all the major artists in the world, even while I was signed with a record deal. And then as soon as social media got in the picture, it was like, I had my own umbrella, you know, and I didn't really need to do other things that I would do. I would break my back in half for other people always. And then I realized that, you know, having an audience is very important, and to build your own brand is even more important. And just staying true to that without realizing I was doing it was just like a huge blessing. And ever since then, my life has just completely changed, and I wouldn't have it any other way, honestly.
Well, congratulations to you, right back at you. Amongst all that, you got
Mm-hmm.
this life, you have the career going on for you, and you've also gotten yourself a love life, which is amazing because, shout out to Omar, I love seeing young black couples that just represent for the generation that is it's not as common as it used to be.
Right.
You know, so when you see it, it's always just refreshing. It's just like, finally. So there's still people out there that believe in this.
For sure.
And they represent in a way that's something you can look up to.
For sure.
You know?
I'm a huge lover, and if you know me, you know that I'm such a sucker for a good relationship, for that like over the moon type of cheesy love. Like I used to watch Moulin Rouge, that kind of love. Like, let's just run away together, let's just be together. Like before all of this other, like, of course, businesswoman and all that, for sure, 100%. But like love is kind of what motivates everything that I do.
Yeah.
So it's just when we met, it's just like I finally, in the moment, you know, I'm just like, who's this beautiful man? I genuinely think that he's one of the most beautiful men in the world.
It's important.
It's cool, but I've never really had that. You know, I've always been the type to not really care about looks.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's just me, because I like more of a compatibility brain wise, just like, you know, a woman with finding an older. Also, I used to always date older, and looks was never a thing for me. It was just he had to be a boss type of, you know. And but for some reason, this one is completely different from anybody I've ever dated. He's my age.
Yeah.
We both have one sibling of the opposite sex.
Okay.
Both of our parents were married for so many years. Seeing it growing up, you see how the catering goes back and forth.
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like it's very important, you know. And then we also share the fact that they're not together anymore, and how that affects us even now to this day. You know what I mean? And what we want for the future and things like that. I mean, we're gonna try our best. None of us have been in a 27-year long relationship. We don't know how it's gonna be. But we definitely are on the same level and the same wavelength. Not always. It hasn't always been like that. Yeah. But we're finally in a place where that's what the vision is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So what would you say is your favorite part about being in a relationship compared to single life? Because I've been in single life for a long time, and it's overrated.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, single life is great to like find yourself. You know, you don't always have to cater to somebody else. You don't always have to check back in, that, and the third. But being in a relationship, at least for me, it gives me a sense of like, this part of me is like solid and in control and calm and normal human being stuff. That way I can go into my other set of life and we can like fight things together. So like,
gotcha. Okay.
Relationship for me is like my zen.
Okay.
And my calm, happy place for me to go out into the world to then be able to be as beastly as I possibly can, because I always have someone next to me that has my back no matter.
And that's basically the definition of a power couple. Because I've always said, I'm like, I don't see why a relationship has to tear you away from your goals. Like, if you find somebody that is just as goal driven, that is supportive, that will have your back and motivate you, then it's like you're going to be better than you probably would if you were just running around with, 1,000 things on your mind, like trying to entertain different people, different phones.
Too
like,
much. It's too much energy.
Distracting.
I don't even know how guys have multiple girlfriends, because it's too much energy. One woman will suck you dry. So I don't know how you guys do it where there's multiple women, so it's always been a motivating thing for me to have somebody that also just sees me, and vice versa, but sees what I do and is motivated by it, and and helps me push forward. Like, I've been a showgirl my whole entire life. Like, if you can't understand that coming into it, like, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You have to be completely like super secure, confident and secure with yourself, and know like what my characteristics are. Like, I'm a lover, I'm a Capricorn, so if I love you, like, I'm going to ride and die for you, but I also just need someone that understands that I'm never going to just sit back at home. I can't just sit back at home and cook and clean and this, that, and the third. Like, that's not the vibe either.
See, Omar, he was in the NFL. Yeah. So he's not just a regular guy around the block either. So there's definitely some, elements of him as far as stardom goes.
For sure.
And so I think the balance of that, do you think that kind of helps?
And we both know the feeling of being in front of audiences by the hundreds of thousands, Yeah. And also understanding that, like, I know when he needs his tank full, and he's same as me,
Exactly.
So we play good with that. But I'm also a great wingman, I think. Like, he is a whole man, and he has things that he has to get done, and he's wakes up 6 a.m. every morning, 5 a.m.
It's funny because Omar and I are connected with the Apple Watch, and I get up at like 7 o'clock in the morning. It's like Omar has completed his 3 rings. I'm like,
come on.
Yeah, I'm like, how did you manage to do this before I woke up? Like, and I thought I was getting up pretty early.
Yeah.
So I don't know what is going on at that house, if he's just running around the kitchen or
he is something else.
Yeah.
He is something else. I promise you. It motivates me every single day. Like, I literally wake up every day by myself, because he wakes up, he goes on his knees, he prays for God knows how many minutes, gets up, he's out. He gives me a kiss first, and then he's out for the day, and getting it cracking. And he reads books in the mornings. Like, just so motivating. He's internally connected before the other stuff, before the external stuff. Like, he's so internally connected. It's wild.
I would love to have a partner like that. I think that you're 100%. It's nothing worse than getting up super early and that person is just like sleeping in all day.
Right.
It's one thing if you're getting up Omar hours, which is like, was it like 5 o'clock or something?
5, 6, depends on what.
I wouldn't fault anybody if they don't want to get up at 5. But
Right.
if I come back after all those activities around like 11 and you're still in bed,
that's impossible.
That's when it's just like, come on, like, you know what I mean? Like, how can I possibly be fueled off of that type of, connection?
Yeah.
So that's dope that you guys have that.
I'm a good 7 a.m.er.
That's not bad.
I'm a good 7 a.m.er. A 6 a.m. is like for a shoot or something that I need to do. But like 7 a.m. for me is like, okay, my family's over there on the East Coast. It's kind of late still over there, but I'm a woman and I need my 8 hours of sleep. So like,
absolutely,
it is what it is.
So you guys also, I like the way your image looks as well. So you guys not only go crazy when it comes to Halloween. I know. By the time you guys see this episode, Halloween will be over, but I still need to touch on it because you guys have some of the most iconic Halloween costume duos that I've ever seen.
Thank you so much.
Avatar was probably like the favorite one.
It came in hot. That was the first year. How do we top that? We don't top it.
Oh, so that was it. Okay, yeah.
I mean, we've been trying to top it this
true,
whole damn time, but like, it's like damn near impossible because we made it from scratch. I went and got makeup, eyeshadow palettes enough to cover our whole entire bodies.
It literally looked just like the movie. Like, that was like some next level stuff.
Crazy. It was so much fun though. Like, we realized like he made me laugh. He disappeared in the bathroom for like 30 minutes. I'm like, he's too quiet. What is he doing? I go inside, and whole half of his body in the front is all blue, tattoos covered.
Wait, he did it himself?
We both did. We had to go in and pat our bodies. The only thing we had a makeup artist come in and do our prosthetics.
Got you. Okay.
But like as far as the body paint, we had to do that on our own, and it was such a crazy experience. Rubbing it off, the worst experience ever. We went to like 3 parties that night. Came home, we're in the shower together, drunk at night, like rubbing ourselves. Went to bed, ruined the bed. So but we've been trying to beat it out every single year. This year though is really, 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 really dope.
Okay.
So we already
we'll have to check back in and see what those were.
We already shot it, and because COVID, so now we got to do. Now we just dressed up to take some photos and do some cool, fun visuals, and it's all body paint as well. But we actually got a great makeup artist to come in.
Okay, so this time, so this should be a next step up if you got the pros coming in doing it.
I mean, I think it's top 2 for sure.
We're gonna see, because like I said, Avatar was a hard one to stop. So I'm looking forward to seeing the next one. So with you guys having this amazing image, as far as, you know, not just the way you guys look together, but just the way you guys perform around each other, I've noticed that you guys have started to do a lot more like collaborative type deals, whether it be with different brands. So has that been like a really cool bonus?
It's been such a crazy year. Like, we've been doing YouTubes, and like it's just been so hard.
Okay, the Komar show.
The Komar show.
Right, okay.
We have the Komar show, and we've been doing that for 2 years, you know, and we just like gave up. We would fight. We would just like, I'm like, you're gonna edit this one. Like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. You know, we've had to make a lot of sacrifices. We have an in-house videographer with us. He catches it all: the good, the bad, the ugly. It's been crazy, but the fact that we're getting deals from something that we started in the house together, doing things that we normally do anyways, and we're actually having fun pranking each other. We are raising our dog, you know, our dog's our baby, you know what I mean? It's been a crazy experience, but it's definitely not the perfect couple, you know? It's definitely, we are real. We are normal, and we go through a lots of ups and downs, and it's been cool to have that side of things, because my image on my social media is more performance based. It's polished. It's a little bit more showgirl, because that's what I've been doing my whole life. But for the Komar show, I like that it brings in more of like a natural element in my own space, because people really feel like they can like relate to us, and I get to connect with people in a different way on the Komar show.
I think it's important to have different types of platforms like that. You know, like even for me, like when I had, well, I still have, but Hands of Fury, like to me that is just business professional set. You know what I mean? I have to stay in a certain image at all times in order to keep that brand thriving. Fury Talks, I get to be a little bit more free.
Which is great.
And I like, it's fun to be able to, you have to have that side of you where you can just release and be yourself. Because for one, people usually fall in love with you more because they're like, oh, there's other layers to him. And for two, it just feels like you're just being more in your truth.
Human.
Yeah, exactly.
And we are human, you know, and there's not always one side to us.
Exactly.
And everybody tries to always probably put you in a box because that's what you put yourself out as. But at first. But like sometimes, you know, stepping out of your comfort zone and doing different things and having different avenues, at least for me, I feel like 7 different ways of doing things is always the way. 7 is my favorite number, and I just feel like 7 different ways of income is always going to be a recipe for success.
Absolutely,
you know?
Exactly. So before you met Omar, you've obviously had some relationships that failed, which allowed you to stay single and meet him again. Was there ever a point in any of your relationships where you, let's say, cheated, and then maybe learned from it and evolved and carried those new beings into the new relationship, like now?
Absolutely.
Okay, so tell me about that, because I feel like mostly everybody has cheated at some point in their life. I don't think too many people will admit it because they feel like it's shameful. And I look at it as just growth. And I feel like sometimes experiencing either having it done to you or doing it to somebody else is exactly what you need to say, I don't ever want to put this on to someone or feel this again. You know? For
me, it's very, that's like, cheating is so hurtful, right? And I just remember being in my first relationship where I was head over heels in love. And of course, the typical story, you know, you walk in to the building and I look over to my right and this man is sitting with another woman.
Oh, wow.
With a bottle of perfume, the same exact bottle of perfume that he got me on my first date, sitting on the table.
Wait, where was the...
I was in Miami when this happened.
And this was like at a...
It was at, he lived in a building and it had a restaurant in the building.
Okay, gotcha. So a restaurant. Okay.
Yeah. It was the restaurant, but it was his apartment. You know, imagine having a restaurant and like.
So it was public
stores.
space. You didn't like bust into nobody's apartment.
No. I actually called him, couldn't pick. He wasn't picking up the phone.
Yeah.
And I was coming to bring him food because I figured he was asleep.
Wow.
He was having dinner with a whole nother woman. And when I pulled up and saw them, I walked over and I was like, "Hey," still not really putting the pieces together because I'm like, no, this, you know.
Yeah.
And then she got up, she grabbed the bottle too, and she left.
So she knew exactly who you were, most likely.
I have no idea. Yeah. Till this day, it's like one of those things. But it crushed me to the point where I went home, and I remember walking into my mom's house, and I was wailing at the top of my voice. She thought I got stabbed. Yeah. She said, she's like, it was the worst cry I've ever heard. She's like, I literally didn't even know what to do with you because you looked like you were dying inside. Yeah. And I just remember laying in bed with her the whole night bawling. So that feeling and that like whole thing, without realizing, I took that and I carried that with me for like 7-8 years. And every single relationship after that, not that I wanted to hurt somebody else, but it was a protective mechanism.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm over here, I'm shielding myself. I'm in a relationship with you, but if I feel like you're missing something, or if I feel like, you know, if I feel like you might cheat on me, I'm going to do it to have somebody on the back burner. Not to hold anything
just
against
like
you.
Plan B,
a plan B just in case, because I don't want to feel that again.
Yeah.
And I would do it.
Yeah.
And I would have another relationship, and that would happen again, and I would have somebody. There was never a relationship up from that point, all of them, up until now, that I didn't have someone on the back burner just in case.
Wow.
And women don't talk about those kinds of things. And my friends, all of them were like, Candice, this is wrong. You cannot do that. You're in a relationship. Just don't be in a relationship. Yeah. You know? And it was so deep-rooted that in my mind, it made all the sense. Yeah. To do that.
It's easy to say that to people. It's easy to tell people how to feel, how to react.
For
because,
sure.
you know, the standard says before you cheat, you should just leave the relationship, right?
For sure.
But when you have some battle wounds and some really deep, you know, penetrating feelings, you want to move into a new relationship because there are elements of it that you used to love. Yeah. You know, it's nice to be in a relationship, but you can't ignore that feeling that you felt when you were cheated on.
Absolutely.
So it's like, how do I balance this? How do I go into a relationship that I know I'm afraid to go into without putting my all into it? Because when you put your all into it, that's probably why it hurts the most.
Absolutely.
Because you had nothing to fall back on. You're like, this was everything.
This was everything, and I was shattered into pieces. And how do I pick this back up? So I don't want to feel that again. But you don't realize, at least I didn't realize, I was a little too young to realize, you know. It was just, and it happened to me pretty young. Yeah. And he was older. Okay. But I was like, I want to say 18, and he might have been like 28.
Oh, that's
like
a gap.
10-year gap, you know. And I might have even been 19. And he was older. Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
That's a
you know what I mean? And I'm over here like, oh, I found it. This is it, you know.
Was the girl he cheated on you with older as well, or was she younger?
I have no idea.
You don't know?
I blanked out. I blacked out, you know. And then come to find out, that was just one. You know what I mean? And there was multiple after that. And, you know, it's it's tough to be a girl and to fall in love. So, but I learned from those situations. You know, I hurt people. I broke people's hearts. And then even like the internal feeling of actually realizing what I was doing. Yeah. Now that I'm mature enough to understand, like, I could never do that to Omar. Yeah. I could never do that to the relationship I'm in right now because it's just...
What do you think was the switch? How did you go from this wounded woman that acted off of her past to suddenly, I'm ready to do this right?
I think it was him.
Okay.
I think it's the person.
That sense of security.
It's the person because, like, I would never want to hurt him. Yeah. The way... I know that he would be crushed because I'm we are so in tune. Like, I know when he's like in a bad mood, he hasn't said a word to me. Yeah. Like if I could look at him and be like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're so connected in that way that it's so deep that I'm just like, I would never want him to feel, I love him so much, you know what I mean? And I would never want to hurt him. And this is the first relationship too. Like, I wouldn't put this past anybody. I think anybody, I mean, look, I'm never going to say this man will never cheat on me because I don't tell the future, and I would never put that past anyone. But like, this is the closest thing for me to feel like this is a relationship where we understand, we have a common understanding of what our future goal is and, you know, what we're living in. And I just feel like this isn't the relationship to play with. You don't do that to something that you see like the real future with, you know? So maybe the other people that I was dating just weren't the ones.
You probably knew in the back of your mind, you're like,
maybe,
this is cool, but they're missing something.
But I still didn't need to cheat, you know what I mean?
True as well.
So I don't agree with what I did. I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't, because I did, and I'd be lying to myself, you know?
I think that's why I've been single for so long. I've been single like 5 years because I'm so picky up to this point because of the aftermath of how my relationships ended.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm picking everything apart so bad that it's just like, damn, am I hurting myself and not giving any of these girls a fair chance? I feel like, I don't feel like I am. I just feel like I'm waiting for my female Omar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And which is just like, okay, this is what I've been waiting for.
For sure.
And it feels right. Yeah.
And that's okay. And you can feel that way, and you can write everything down, exactly what you want from A to Z. And it doesn't have to be like you guys meet and then you guys are in love and whatever. Like we met and we didn't date for a whole like 8 months. He went away. He had to go figure his shit out in New York for a few months. You know what I mean? And I liked him. I thought he was great. We had great chemistry. He told me, he goes, I'm going to leave. I got to go figure my shit out. Don't get a boyfriend while I'm gone. I was like, yeah, sure, bro.
Yeah.
For sure. He leaves. He's gone. I didn't talk to him. It was every once in a while he would hit me up. He would send me Christmas gifts, whatever.
So were you purposely avoiding getting in a relationship, or it just happened to work out that way?
No, I was just like, I'm not going to wait for you to, I'm not going to get in a relationship with you and you don't have your shit figured out.
Got you. That makes sense.
This is post-football, after an injury. I'm not going to sit here, you know what I mean? Everybody's story is different. I knew I liked him, but I wasn't going to move to New York.
True. Yeah.
You know, so I left it open.
Yeah.
I stayed open with it. And then when he got back, he was adamant. He was like, I'm in town. I want to see you.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, oh my God.
That's the way you get it done.
Yeah. Them boys, y'all got to come in strong and let these women know exactly what you want. He was not holding back at all. He let me know. And that's another thing my brother would tell me, like, if a man wants to be with you, he's going to be with you.
Yeah.
And that's that. You don't have to question it.
Yeah.
You know?
True. So what do you think is too aggressive? Because I've always felt like there's this weird balance of trying to show you're interested in somebody, but then also not looking too thirsty. Yeah. Maintaining a little bit of like mystery. Yeah. How come it works for you when Omar was aggressive? Because I'm sure some other guys have done that. You must have been like, oh, this dude won't get out of my...
For sure.
Yeah.
See, it's tough to be a guy.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie to you because I don't know that world. Never really had to pursue in the sense where like I'm the man, you know, I'm a woman.
Yeah.
And of course, there's been guys that have been like, I want you, I'll do whatever. In Atlanta, I dated, and this man brought out cash.
Oh, see, that's, okay.
Like wads of cash, and was like, you need to move here. I'm going to make you my girl, and you're going to get everything you want. And I was like, this is
well, that's tacky, though.
Too much.
Unless you were just about the money.
Are you kidding me?
If you're about the, but you're not like that. We're talking about like, no one's trying to figure out how a gold digger can find a man. How can a real, genuine woman, that's the advice I want to give. So like in a case where a guy is trying to pursue somebody without flashing money in their face, what made the difference between Omar's approach versus some other people's approach that made you say, I like this aggressiveness, I like this forwardness?
When you like the person,
so there was just something about him that just
it's just him. In like the whole, like, can we have a full conversation? Like, what are you interested in? Like the things he would talk about for the future. And a lot of the things were unsure too at that time when he had just gotten off football. Like imagine your whole entire career completely being wiped. And you got to switch it up. But it was his energy and his intentions and his character. Yeah. His character, I'm telling you, like waking up in the morning, being driven, reading books, trying to be, you know, on to the next thing. Like that, no matter what happens, we could be ripped from everything that we have today, but I know that we could rebuild. So
how
with
did
that,
you get to that point to where you saw those things about him?
that was the first conversation we had when
Really?
we went to breakfast. We sat there for 3 hours.
Okay, so
we were talking
yeah,
for hours, and I connected with him.
Okay.
And even before he moved to New York, I knew that I had I felt like I knew this guy, even though I was getting all the information from him.
Yeah.
Sometimes you genuinely just really know.
Yeah.
You know?
I say that to say because I've met girls where, let's just say we had a date and we never made it past the first date because it just wasn't a strong enough connection the first time. And then let's say maybe a few months down the line, they might put up a post and they'll be like, man, I sure wish I could find somebody that was like a handyman that could do this. Or I wish I could find somebody that knew how, and they're literally describing me. I'm like, that's exactly who I am. You just never took the time to see my layers beneath. You see what I mean? So like when you look at Omar and you're like, he wakes up in the morning, he meditates. Those are all things that you learn once you've made it into the we're living together phase.
Right.
But I'm like, how did you from the jump know this? But I guess that 3-hour conversation, he must have laid on enough depth that made you feel enough of a connection.
Yeah, so it was definitely light and deep, you know, those conversations. Just
because that annoys the hell out of me. I'd be like, man, these girls don't even know the type of person that I am beyond this. Because I don't like to you don't want to look like you're bragging. You don't want to talk about yourself. You want to make it about them.
For sure.
But at the same time, it's like, if you don't have multiple dates to unravel these layers, then you just don't know what you passed up on.
But also, though, your business is very tough. You need a woman that is secure.
That's true. I guess I was more so referencing before Hands of Fury, like, but yeah, I guess within
but
my
now
now it's a little okay.
Like you need a woman that is gonna be okay with you packing and stuff, picking up your stuff and headed to a woman's place. And some of the baddest women in LA, you literally put your hands on the baddest women.
Other people too, but yeah, I mean, being in LA with a beautiful city.
Yeah.
It's part. See, I mean,
and like she has to know that you're super professional. Yeah. Like every woman that I know that we've worked together and you've massaged them with Hands of Fury and all that. Like we know that you're professional, but if a brand new girl, whatever, she doesn't know.
Well, I think that helps by the reputation as well.
The reputation is huge.
It does help, but then it also comes down to, you're right, it has to be somebody who's secure. Somebody who maybe is in my world or similar or understands it slightly. You know, kind of like you and Omar. Like you guys were both coming from an entertainment world where you understood that Omar, just based off of who he is, his looks, his way of being, could get a lineup of girls. You, a lineup of guys. So you guys both had to go into it like, look, this is irrelevant. And I mean, this is, you know, it's about us right now. So let's not let all the outside noise of what people might think could happen affect us.
And the right girl will be the right girl.
Yeah.
Like, and she will understand that. And it could be anything. Like like you said, you're a handyman, you have this, that, and she mentioned all that. Yeah. Like, but she probably can't handle this, or she can't handle, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, you are a very attractive man. Who knows what, you know...
Maybe she's running from,
like you have no idea.
I've had girls say things like, you look like trouble. I mean, how do I look like trouble? You
so
just look like trouble. I'm like, what happened in your life?
Right.
Who looked like me that did something to you that made me trouble?
Right.
That's annoying. I'm like, I'm not going to try to get around this and be fighting for your trust forever. Like, it just ain't going to work out.
I think for men, too, it's just like, build the nest and the right woman will come. You have built the nest, and you're still building your nest. Yeah. You know, you're doing different avenues. You're doing different kinds of things. Somebody that understands it,
I feel that,
is gonna come in and be like, "This is perfect.
Yeah.
Wow. What if she's a makeup artist and she does services?
Yeah.
You know, she's like, okay, I do men all the time. I do women all the time.
Exactly.
I see him doing all these kinds of things. She walks in the set. She appreciates the things that you do. It needs to be an appreciation for it.
There's nothing nicer than that. Yeah. Because when I walk into a woman's home, because this is my way of being, and I see nice decor, candles, and I'm like, oh, this is not, I can feel comfortable here. Like, I know she's going to love my spot, and this is going to be something we have in common together. I hate going to a girl's house. I don't care how beautiful she is. She got a mattress on the floor. Yeah. Or just, even if she made it and she elevated herself to a platform and then the mattress. But everything else is just like still just janky. You know what I mean? I'm like, to me, I'm just like, it doesn't feel like a grown woman's home. It feels like a little child. So those things definitely are turn-ons for me. So I've always, I guess you say nest, I've always wanted to create a space that felt like when a girl came by, she could be like, this is like a home I could feel comfortable in.
Yeah,
you know?
I remember when I was single, I would make my bed like, I got a big enough bed to be able to plan for the future, like my future husband is gonna be laying on this side. Like I could have easily gotten like a little
old,
small one that could like fit just me and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like for years,
wow.
I made sure to buy a big enough bed. I did both sides of the bed, so like this side is gonna be my side. I would sleep on one side of the bed, like manifesting without realizing I was really manifesting. That my other half would be like part of me, and like I'm living it now.
That's really, I've never even looked at it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be, and you gotta like write down what you want.
I'm more of a queen kind of bed guy.
Yeah.
I mean, why do I need a big old king? I'm by myself. Unless I roll over 5 times in the night, I sleep in the same spot.
Yeah,
but I can see now that I see, I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Prepare. Yeah. I mean, you've already done it. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're not far off at all.
No, not at all. Not my next bed will be a king. Yeah. I know. Yeah. King beds only.
Oh, king beds only. Cali King if you want to get extra spicy.
So one of the viewers had written in and asked me how he could avoid. I guess he got friend zoned by a girl that he really likes, and I felt like this would be a good question to ask a girl. So like, what is it that makes you decide somebody who's friend zone material that just, listen, we can be cool, but this is as far as it goes. I'm sorry if you had other intentions. What is it? What do they got to do that?
Oh.
Put themselves in the friend zone for you.
If it's somebody that like you love hanging out with and you know, you laugh a lot, you hang out and stuff, but you just can't see yourself physically getting connected in like maybe a physical way.
Okay.
I think that's an easy way to get friend zoned. Like if you're not sexually attracted to someone, but like you really relate with them, you want to see them happy, you want to maybe find them a girlfriend or, you know, stuff like that. You know, I feel like.
So let's say somebody was in the friend zone. How could they get out of the friend zone? Or is it literally like, hey, this is where you live for the rest of your life?
Honestly, for me, when you're in the friend zone,
that's really it? Nobody could ever come from that?
Because I know what I want or knew what I wanted when whatever, you either fit into that square or you don't. Okay, like, so, you're not going to try to put a triangle in a square box.
That's true. Because me, I feel like one of the reasons could be is that maybe they didn't state their intent quick enough. Maybe they went around this girl and just started hanging out with her too much as a friend, and maybe it just never allowed her to see you in that light.
Well,
right?
yeah, I mean,
so like let's say you go on a first date, and by the end of that first date, or within that date, you do nothing to show interest. There's no attempt to hold her hand. There's no attempt to get a kiss at the end of the night.
Or tell her she's beautiful.
Anything, along the lines of that.
Yeah. Men, I think, have to always like state why you think like you would want to even talk to her in a way that's outside of just friendship. To
me, I think that's one of the quickest ways to get thrown in the friend zone. This girl was telling me the other day that she went on a date for the first time and this guy showed up with flowers. Now, I thought it was a bit much. I said, nowadays, I think most girls would think that was corny. I think back in the day, that's a perfect gesture. That's what a gentleman should do. But this is 2020. People don't really know how to receive that type of romance, right? I said, however, by him bringing you those flowers, it did let you know that he was looking at you in a more romantic way. That, he literally came through the door and said, hey, this is a date. So if you thought we were just hanging out on some friend stuff, no. So I was like, okay, well, that's a cool little concept. As long as he finds somebody like her that actually thought it was sweet to receive it.
He could have actually just texted her and be like, we're going on a date on Friday. Let me know what time slot works available for you. We are going on a date. Yeah, but you know, sometimes girls are intimidated by that word. They want to feel like, once girls hear date, they hear relationship, they hear commitment, they hear all these negative things that come with it. And then you could be like, no, let's just hang out. We'll just, be cool. And they're like, well, I suppose that's okay. And then while you're there with them, you better do something slick to make her feel like organically she wishes it was a date. No? It's tough.
It's very tricky the way you have to navigate around this dating scene, because people are so afraid of relationships that unless the connection was already like obvious, say y'all met on a dating site, or say y'all met somewhere where it was like we were looking to meet in a romantic way, cool. Yeah. But if you just meet a girl where you're like, man, I really like her, I don't really know how to tell her I like her.
Just tell her she's beautiful.
Yeah,
tell her
but you what you like
about her. Yeah. That's fine, but just tell her what you like about her, what makes you excited about it. Like, be like, when I saw you smile the first time, when I saw you might be, you're just so beautiful. I want to get to know you. I mean, that's something that you have to be so confident. You don't have to be like weird about it. Just say what you like, and I promise. Maybe I'm just more of an affirmation kind of a girl too. Yeah. It's just
I can see that.
You know, but it's just like you gotta let the woman know how you feel, you know, but not too much where you're like, I just want to be with you, but it's just like, you know, I've been in LA for a long time, and I really think you look different, and you're different, and I want to explore that with you. Let's go on a date.
Okay.
If she says yes, cool. She's not putting you in the friend zone.
I can appreciate the forwardness of that. I wish more people were like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think that sometimes you can talk yourself into the friend zone by just saying stupid stuff that a girl wouldn't want to hear coming from somebody that she might see as a potential, right?
Right.
Don't talk about sexual experiences that you had.
Right.
Especially if they're recent.
This is maturity.
Yeah, that's just stupid. Like, I remember my boy was telling me how he met this girl, and I don't know how they got in the conversation of pornography, right? And he just asked her genuinely, because it came up organically, it didn't seem too crazy, do you ever watch it? And she said, no, I just, you know, if I ever get horny, I just call up my ex. And I was like, what kind of a girl would say that to somebody who was potentially pursuing you, unless you were letting them know, I'm just here for the sex, or don't try to get too serious with me because I'm going to say some stupid shit like this just to turn you off.
She probably was just oblivious to
what she was doing?
what she was saying.
Okay, but if she was intentful, I feel like that's what it would have been.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was telling him. Like, I don't really know how to read this, brother. I would never answer with some stupidness like that.
Right, but then she was probably just really young and thought it was really cool to say that.
Yeah.
Like, you say things when you're young to, like, try to impress people.
Okay.
Like...
Well, if you get older, don't ever do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah,
silly.
Find another way. Listen, even if you you ain't got to lie, just keep the truth to yourself.
Yeah.
Just be like, well, no, I don't watch it.
Or
period.
You do, and be like, sometimes I do, but not really.
Yeah, and put a period at the end of it. You don't have to follow up with something that is knowingly going to make somebody not take you seriously.
Right, and don't talk about your ex situations. Like, you don't need to be talking about your sex life. And if the boy is asking you how many people you slept with, this, that, and third, how many boyfriends have you had?
Yeah.
He's not mature enough.
Yeah.
Omar and I, we don't have those conversations.
You don't have to talk about it,
We don't need. I don't need to know.
You don't really gain anything from it. Yeah, you don't gain anything from it.
Yeah, you don't gain anything. And whatever happened in the past, I'm not judging you for.
Exactly.
But, like, we don't need to talk about it. Unless we're going into a place and I'm about to see your ex, you better tell me that we're about to walk in. Or you see her across the way. Yeah. Hey, babe, just letting you know, this is my ex-girlfriend is in the same room as us.
You don't want to get blindsided.
You don't want to get blindsided. Exactly. Other than that, unless we're in a face-to-face situation, don't talk about that.
Yeah. So I made that mistake when I was younger.
Of course, because you thought it was cool.
Yeah, I exactly. So I was 22 years old, and this girl was like, show me your type. And I done had so many beautiful women at the time. I was like, shoot, well, this is Lisa. And I'm scrolling through my phone like it was like something to brag about, stupidly. And then once her and I became an item, and all of a sudden one of those girls, who was actually just my friend at this point, sent me a message like, hey, you know, cute picture of talking about me and her. She was like, ain't that the same bitch that... Well, I was like, damn it. And she was like, block her. I was like, why I got to block her for? She was like, because I know who she is. I know what she's trying to do. She's trying to insert herself into the picture and let me know she's still... I'm like, no, she's not. But because I told you all about these exes voluntarily like an idiot, I basically just made it so that I couldn't be friends with any of those exes anymore. And I actually do have pretty good relationships with most of my exes because we didn't end off anything weird, and we didn't actually... We are very respectful of the fact that it was a thing of our past, you know, so we maturely were able to maintain a friendship. But now I know I am not volunteering that information because it doesn't help. It doesn't do anything in a positive manner, except like in your scenario where you're going to be in the same room as them.
Yeah.
Then you should know.
Out of respect.
Yeah. All right, guys. So to recap, in this episode, we talked about some of the benefits of being in a positive, healthy relationship and how it can help motivate you and give you a peace of mind that sometimes you just don't get when you're single. You know, not every relationship has to be something that pulls you down and keeps you from your goals. In fact, they've demonstrated that it's quite the opposite. And we also talked about cheating. And I know a lot of people aren't usually willing to admit that they've been the cheater themselves. Most stories are told that they've been cheated on. But a lot of times you have to look back at the source and figure out what's making me this way. What trauma did I endure that is causing me not to be free and give my full heart to somebody? Will there ever be someone that comes into my life that allows me to love fully? Candice thankfully found that. She found the person that was able to heal her and make her feel whole and trust again. And I think that's something we can all look forward to if we've been cheated on and have lost hope to the idea that we could ever love again. Lastly, we covered the friend zone. Some of the things you should and should not do to fall in that dreaded zone. Being clear about your intent. Being honest. Being sure not to say stupid things that are gonna make her not look at you as a potential option. And if you ever do get that first date, try your best to balance the conversations with a little bit of fun, but also with enough depth to where they get to know who you are, what your values are. Because those are the things that are gonna allow someone to decide, are you just a friend? Are you the homie? Or are you their next boo? Alright y'all, so that's it for Furey Talks. Thank you for watching this episode. Really hope you enjoyed it. Candice, thank you for coming on and blessing us with your presence.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Tell everybody how they can find you.
You guys can follow me on Instagram at Candice, and I think you guys should go check out our YouTube, The Komar Show. It's available right now. We have so many prank videos. We're doing crazy things on that channel, so you guys check it out. It's going up. It's going crazy. I think we just hit 60,000 subs, so
Congrats.
It's going up,
Yeah.
and I'm so excited. So yeah, make sure you follow me at Candice at The Komar Show on YouTube, and get into it, honey. Don't be late.
There it is. Everything we talked about, you guys can see it live in action. Hopefully you can be inspired by their amazing relationship, as I always am. Thank you guys again for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit the notification button so you know when the next episode is coming. As always, till next time, Furey Talks. Later.